this bull's chasing her and like, get back over here, you know?
Yeah.
He stops at 88 yards and he bugles. There's a big opening and there's a line of cedar trees. And he bugles at the edge of the cedars and that cow ducks into the cedars. And I kind of the wind's kind of blowing kind of weird from left to right, but also kind of going towards him a little bit. So I try to move to the right. I could see his fronts coming out before I could see his nose. And before he was about to step out, I started to draw back and I just feel the wind hit the back of my arms. And that cow barked and they never saw that bull again.
But then my hunt came around. Similar to yours, I got to 15 yards from the buck, but he was behind a tree. So I was like sidestepping to get an angle on him.
Yeah.
And he finally saw me, popped up, stopped 30 yards broadside.
You see all these guys on YouTube and stuff too, and they talk about like die with memories and not dreams.
Hello and welcome to the Humans in Harmony podcast, where we learn about the interconnectedness of the mind, body, and spirit. Today we're joined by one of my rivals from high school. We met each other all year long, every year, in every sport: football, basketball, baseball, track. It wasn't like a heated rivalry, more of a mutual respect rivalry. And it wasn't until after high school that I discovered we had a similar passion, which is hunting. And I believe hunting exemplifies the mind, body, and spirit connection. Your mind has to be tight in your planning and preparation, as well as making decisions in the heat of the moment. And your body has to be in good shape to be hiking through the mountains and packing out an animal. And the spirit, being out in nature, in God's country, it's a different type of connection that's kind of hard to explain. It's one of those things you gotta do it to feel it. But today we're going to be talking about all things hunting, as well as this program that Johnny's a part of, where he helps disabled kids and veterans get out and experience the outdoors through hunting. And if you get some value from this podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe and share it with others to help us reach a larger audience. But without further ado, Johnny Plowman. Welcome, brother.
Thanks, man. It's good to be here. I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to it. So why don't we hop into the start and how we met back in high school sports?
Yeah, everybody from Lawrenceburg, you know, that rivalry with Hatch, it's been there from as long as I can remember, being a little kid, being the ball boy. One of our football coaches always said, "I hate playing Hatch." It's always been there. And like I said, it's not real. It's not too hard. It's just we're kind of close, you know.
Yeah.
But it was always a lot of fun too. He gets a little bit bigger, but it was also, you guys were always really good too.
You guys too, man. It was two small schools in New Mexico, but we still were super competitive in sports, especially our generations. We clashed every time. It didn't matter what it was. And so
Yes,
it was a great time. It was sports, man. That was a huge part of
It's
our
cool
childhood.
to look back on it now and like say we could become friends after, you know.
Yeah,
probably
100%.
we had, like you said, that mutual respect, but we might not have liked each other that much in the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Playing football. You were the quarterback, I was the quarterback. We wanted to kill each other.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? But
No doubt.
looking back now and being able to be friends, it's cool. I have a lot of relationships like that from sports as well.
Oh, yeah,
so
man.
it's awesome.
It's a great part of the childhood. Growing up in a small town, it's like, without sports, dude,
There's
there
not
ain't
much
nothing.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool how the communities come together and really get behind the sports teams and stuff as well. It's awesome.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Absolutely. So, what age did you start getting into hunting, man?
So I guess I could start off with probably my favorite hunting story. I was 6 or 7. I just passed my hunter safety my very first hunt. So I was about 6 or 7 and killed my first deer with my dad. You know, that's a memory that'll hang out with me forever. I remember we had shooting sticks that now I use to sit down and shoot. And I remember I was standing. I was so small that I was standing on the shooting sticks. And I killed my first buck with just me and my dad. And one of the spots we gone for as long as I could remember and still go back there now. And it just, it's 6 or 7. And that's about what age we try to get our nieces and nephews, and as long as they could pass hunter safety. So
Yeah.
I've been hunting since then. I think every year that I can draw a tag, we've probably I've been a part of or at least killed a deer ever since then. So
Wow.
20 years, you know.
It's awesome, man.
So,
That's awesome. Yeah, that first hunt, dude. What'd it feel like that first time?
it's unforgettable. You know, I always joke with my dad, like, he's probably told me he loves me 4 times. Like, you know, your whole life your dad loves you, but that's one moment that he hugged me and
oh man,
I felt like I was choking. He's hugging me so tight, you know. And he says, "I love you." Like, it's just that moment, you know. It's it's hard to beat that.
No doubt. No doubt.
So,
No doubt. No, man. My first kill was very similar.
yeah.
My first hunt, I didn't get anything. I was also 7. I passed that year. Didn't get anything that year, but the next year was my first time harvesting an animal, and very similar. I had the crappy shooting sticks, but the grass was too tall, so I couldn't see through. So I ended up shooting off my dad's shoulder. Like, he was on his knees, and I was resting it right there. And man, just a lifelong memory, man. Lifelong.
And something to share with your dad too. You know, it's just you and your dad out there hiking around looking for deer. It's stuff you just don't forget.
Absolutely.
It stays with you forever.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to share that with your own kids as well. You know,
man, yeah.
My daughter Carson, she sees the animals on the wall and pretends to shoot them. She's ready to go too.
How old is she?
She's 3. She'll be 4 this year.
Oh man,
so
it's right around the corner.
it's fast, man. It's fast.
It's fast. Yeah, I got a boy too. He just got his first deer this year.
That was a big old buck,
dude.
I saw
nice
that
buck.
picture. It was
nice
awesome.
buck. No, it was great. And yeah, so I'm excited for that. I got him in for all hunts this year.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to that. Hopefully we get a draw.
That's the hard part nowadays, and it's just
That's the hard
getting
part.
tags.
Yeah,
It's tough.
So for people that might not know, can you explain the getting a tag process?
Yeah, for sure.
New
So
Mexico?
New Mexico, it's completely 100% lottery. So you pick your species, you pick which units you want to hunt, and you have certain odds for different units, have different numbers of tags, different, because they have other units have better quality, like horn wise, and more animals, so more units have more tags. But yeah, so you apply for them, and you have a certain amount of odds to draw the tag, and they have to pick your name out of the hat. I think I didn't look at the numbers this past year, but the year before, I know that there was 285,000 applications, and there's 61,500 tags. So do the math there. You know, your odds of drawing tags are pretty low. Everybody likes to hunt now. You know, everybody. There's a lot of people putting in for a lot of hunts, so it's hard to get tags. And there's an opportunity out there in Arizona as well. I don't know if you're aware of it either, but they have every year they have an over-the-counter for non-residents.
Really?
So November 1st they go on sale, and you can buy an Arizona tag, and you have the whole month of January. You have a week in August, 2 weeks in September, and then the last 3 weeks of the year.
All off that one tag?
Off one tag. So you have about 72 days.
Whoa. Is that deer?
It's deer, so it's by a quota for units.
Uh-huh.
So like, you got to make sure the unit you're hunting is still open for that, and then it's mule deer or coos deer.
Wow.
So you can, any deer you see that if it's open, you can hunt them.
Dang.
And it's just an awesome opportunity, especially being close to Arizona, you know.
Yeah, totally. Especially if you don't draw a tag, you can still go hunting.
Every year you're going to get to go. It is tough because they limit the number of non-residents now.
Okay.
So it's like 2,800 tags.
Gotcha.
And I think this last year they sold out in like 15 minutes. So on November 1st at 9 o'clock in the morning, you got to be
ready.
on and get one.
Gotcha.
So,
How much does that cost?
so it's $300 for
Okay.
the tag, but then you have to buy a hunting and fishing license combo for $160. So altogether it's $460. But if you think about it, as much time as you get,
Yeah.
that's really not bad. And as much as tags cost nowadays,
Yeah.
it's a really good opportunity for sure.
And you got to buy that tag per unit, or
No, it's just one tag for
the whole state?
the whole state, whatever units are open.
That's legit.
Yeah, you do have to make sure. It's your responsibility to know if the unit's open, but yeah, it's a great opportunity.
That's sweet.
Great opportunity.
I've heard of over-the-counter elk hunts in Colorado.
So they actually just got rid of that for non-residents this last year.
Man.
It's because there was a lot of all the residents, as New Mexico guys, you know, you're like, these guys from Arizona, from Colorado, stay in your states, you know. It's the same thing, but I understand it, but I also enjoy the opportunity. But they had enough residents that were complaining about it and stuff that they shut it down. I think they're going to shut it down for a few years, let the population come back, because there's only certain units you can hunt as well.
Gotcha.
It's the same. Like, you got to see what units are available over the counter, and they shut them down. But I hear stories of guys that go out there, and there's just every hill there's 3 or 4 guys on. You know,
man.
like, it's too much.
Yeah.
So, but it is an opportunity that did get taken away, like you said. If you don't draw a tag, you get to go still. But yeah, that's not an option anymore.
For sure.
You got to draw.
So yeah, this past year, I actually helped my coworker go hunting for the first time ever. And it was an awesome experience, and he is absolutely hooked. Yeah,
Yep, that's the best too,
dude. Yeah.
Sharing it with people,
man. and he put in for everything this year. He's like, dude, let's see when that draw comes.
Yep.
So he's all pumped. But can you walk us through what it's like for someone, an absolute beginner, like just starting from scratch, the process they'd have to go through to be able to hunt?
Yeah, for sure. So that's the same way. You have to get your Game and Fish account, start there, and then you apply for tags. There are some over-the-counter opportunities as well, like Barbary Sheep here is over-the-counter. But I guess some advice for new hunters is a lot of people, like if you're monetarily stable, you could spend some good money on some good gear. There's really good gear out there, and there's so much of it that it's kind of overwhelming, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
But
what do I get?
Yeah, exactly. And you can't really go wrong. Like I've always hear, and I agree with, like, just buy the best stuff that you can afford. Don't put yourself out for it, you know? Like, luckily I'm monetarily stable now, and I got like Swarovski binos, like that kind of stuff, you know? And Vortex, great glass, you know, just buy the best stuff that you can afford.
For sure. And
I would say the most I've learned is a good pair of boots. Like that's number one, because you're going to be hiking around, moving. If your feet are hurting, it's going to be miserable.
Yep.
Secondly, I would say make sure you have a weapon that's you're comfortable with and that you're confident with.
Okay.
And an effective range with that. So your rifle, take it out, practice. There's weapons you can shoot. Like I practice a lot. I'm comfortable out to 800 to 1,000 yards on animals. Like we shoot a bunch. I have a custom rifle that shoots 1/4-inch groups at 100 yards. Like they're all touching at 100 yards, you know. So with that weapon and with the right circumstances, I'm comfortable pretty far. I don't like to shoot that far, but sometimes
you can if you have to.
Yeah, exactly.
But for a beginner, what's a good range you recommend?
I would recommend, like I said, practicing, but like 5 and in. 500 yards and in, yeah. Like that's still pushing a little bit. 200-300 yards is we bow hunt.
Yeah.
So if I can't get within 200 yards of a deer, I probably shouldn't either. But
yeah.
There's some hunts like Barbary Sheep, even some coos deer stuff where they live in country that if you see a buck that's big or you've been scouting, like and you get 500-600 yard shot, you know, and you practice, I don't see anything wrong with taking that shot, you know. But get an effective weapon that you're comfortable with. Archery as well. Like I know guys that shoot 85 pounds. I know guys that shoot 60 pounds. There's girls that shoot 45 pounds. You know, it's just get comfortable with your weapon. And so you could do justice to the animal as well. You're not just wounding stuff, you know. But get a good weapon. And another big thing that I've learned in the last couple years is optics on a tripod.
Oh,
glassing.
On a tripod.
Yeah, like there's plenty. You can get them on Amazon. There's carbon fiber ones that are awesome. They're light, you know. You can spend $1,200 on a tripod. But I've killed a lot more big animals with my eyes than I have with my feet.
Yeah.
Like just sitting on a hill and glassing and spotting them laying down or catching them moving from the sun gets in an area, they move their bed for 10 seconds, they get up and move and sit down, and you have that 10 seconds to find them, you know. But that's a very big thing for me now is I'll sit on a spot all day and glass, and then I find a lot more animals than just walking around. Because I wonder how many times I've walked through a canyon and jumped something I had no idea was there. Yeah. You know,
they're definitely in there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a big, for a beginner, those are the 3 main things. Good boots, comfort, definitely comfort. So hiking, like you said, packing out, all that stuff. That's going to be miserable if your feet hurt.
Yeah.
Weapon, so comfortable range and being confident with your weapon.
What about caliber wise?
You know, that's a big same. You can take a deep dive on YouTube. You can it's awesome. But different animals, different bullet size, of course.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna hunt anything, like for one weapon for everything, you can't go wrong with the 30 cal round, like a 300 Win Mag, or like personally, I have a 7 PRC. You can get really good factory ammo. Like you can be effective on elk, oryx, all the big game, as well as a coos deer or something smaller as well, you know, mule deer. So that's really good. And a lot of people talk about the 6.5 Creedmoor.
Yeah.
Like call it a 6.5 Need More. Like it's just you hear jokes and stuff. But I mean, we've killed cow elk with them at 400 yards and
Oh, wow.
just dropped them, you know.
Dang.
So it's shot placement. It's the same
sure.
thing, you know. It's like having a bow that's 45 pounds versus 65 pounds. It's just you got to learn your effective range and use your weapon. People argue you could you could kill anything with the 22. Like, you can, but are you going to take that risk? You
Yeah.
know, why are you going to? You might as well get a caliber that's going to help you
Have a better
harvest that animal, you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, I would, for a beginner, if you're going to buy a hunting rifle, I would go a little bit bigger, just like 7 PRC, 300 Win Mag, 300 PRC, just so you can have the effective range for everything.
Yeah.
You know.
Totally.
But
Then
yeah.
optics.
yeah,
Or binos.
binos, rifle scopes, everything. It makes a big. Personally, like I said, if you could afford Swarovskis, like, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
They're insane. Like the new NL Pures, they're very expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive.
Yeah.
But like, as much as I hunt, it's an investment, and
Totally.
it's worth it 100%.
Yeah.
But like I said, Vortex is awesome. They have a lifetime guarantee. So like, if you break them, you drop them, which happens a lot. You know, you have a house fire, you could prove that you show a little piece of it that's burnt. They'll send you a same pair.
Wow.
If you break them, send them in. They'll fix them. They can't fix them, they'll send you a new pair. So
Wow.
like, it's a good investment too to get started.
Just buy it once and you're good to go.
Yeah. And like I said, it's really good. They have different levels. So they have, like, I think Crossfire is the very bottom, and like Diamondback, Viper. Then you get into the Razor Glass, and the Razor Glass is really good, but the price has changed too.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So like I said, you just got to buy the best glass that you can afford.
For
like,
sure.
That's it.
But I think we need to hit how important it is to glass. Like, sit out there with binoculars
Yeah.
and look, because
And especially on a tripod.
because you're shaking without it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And once you glass with the tripod,
ain't no going back.
There's no going back at all. Like, it's just so much easier too. Then you're not holding them. You're just sitting there. You can take, like, so my favorite animal is coos deer to hunt right now. Like, that's just because they're so small, they're so little, they blend in so well, and I just love the glass. Like, even if, like, I go shed hunting, I'll just sit there and just glass, just look for animals, you know.
Wow.
But it's just they're hard to find.
Yeah.
And once you do find them, they're still hard to stay on because they just bush to bush. They get in the grass, you can't see them. So that really comes in handy too, where you're on a tripod, you got an animal, you lock it in, and it's stuck there. Then you can look, you can make a plan, you could try to see where you need to go.
Nice.
So, but yeah, if you haven't glassed with the tripod, you need to give it a try.
Yeah, I do use a tripod, but those Primo
and that's
shooting sticks.
Yeah, that helps. That's not.
Yeah.
It's not exactly locked in, but you are more steady. You have less movement, and it makes a big difference.
Oh yeah, because without it, you're there shaking, trying to look around.
And then if it's cold, or if you've been hiking and you're tired, and you're not gonna hold steady.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? And I just wonder, growing up, like, how many animals we missed, because I remember starting out, I had some old Wind Rivers, some 10x42s. Like, I look through them now and it gives me a headache. You know? Like, it's just, it's a big game changer if you can use a tripod.
No doubt.
It's awesome.
But
like I said, you could spend $50 on Amazon on a tripod, or you could spend $1,200 on a tripod. It's the same. Just get what you can afford, and I would recommend getting lighter weight. Just because being miserable, you know, you're gonna have a heavy pack and you're gonna be carrying a big old tripod. I would recommend getting something a little bit more lightweight and usable.
Gotcha. Tripod. Do you use your tripod to shoot off of as well? Does it
We
work
do.
for your gun and your
It
binos?
does for both. Yeah. So my gun has the attachments. They also make saddles where you can put them on the gun, and you can take them with the Swiss rails. Swiss rails. You could put them on and off tripods. And like you said, I would like to be prone when I'm shooting. Like, if I can be prone, that's the most stable. You're low gravity. You know, everything's good. But like you said in your story, the grass, the different vegetation, you know, sometimes you got to get some elevation, and shooting off a tripod, even better than just the 2 sticks, you know, the 3 sticks, it makes big difference.
No doubt.
And shooting off a tripod, that changes my effective range as well. Like, shooting at, especially a coos deer, that's probably where I go 500 in, because you're way less steady.
Yeah.
You know, way less steady. So I don't want to take as far of a shot off a tripod, because I don't feel as comfortable on a tripod as I do if I'm prone. Another big shooting hack, I guess you could say, is a rear rest. So having like a little sandbag, they make lightweight sandbags, and if you have that as your rear rest, that takes a lot of the left and right out. That takes a lot of, like, for long range shooting. If you look at any long range shooter or like sports shooters, they all have a rear rest.
How does that work?
So there's just like a little sandbag. So you have your bipod or whatever rest you have, and you set a rear rest on the stock. So usually it's like
on top of it?
No, below it.
Okay.
So you're sitting it on top of it. It's resting on top of it. So a lot of them, they call them squeeze bags too, because when you're getting prone, you want to be able to squeeze it and like go up and down if you need to, and you hold it there, and then that really helps with recoil control as well, because that's a big, for long range shooting, that's a big thing, is recoil control. So that helps with being a lot more accurate as well. I see guys hunting carry 2 tripods. So whenever they're taking longer shots on the tripods, they have one of the tripods set up as a rear rest too.
Wow.
So people get pretty serious with that stuff. But yeah, a rear rest would really help out your accuracy as well with the rifle.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, sometimes some of the hunts you got to take long shots, like ibex or something.
Ibex, like even those Barbary sheep. You just, my thing with people shooting far is you just got to practice.
For sure.
It's not going to do any justice to the animal if you hit it in the back leg, break its leg, or gut shot it and don't ever find it. So that's, if you're going to be shooting far, I really recommend practicing a lot.
For sure.
Well, and you don't even have to like shoot far. Get at 100 yards, get a really small target, and just practice shooting that small. You could practice with the 22. If you have a 22, it's the same feel. It's everything. Just get at 50 yards and shoot something tiny, shoot something small. And it's like you're shooting a deer at 600 yards. It's going to look the same. It's going to be small,
Yeah. You're just getting those reps in.
Yep.
It's like muscle memory.
Same thing. And archery hunting as well. That's really, archery hunting is a lot harder for sure.
A lot
and
harder.
Shooting a bow is a lot harder than shooting a rifle. There's a lot more that can go wrong.
Totally.
So that's reps with everything.
Yeah. I really mostly shoot at 20 yards with the bow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll try to test my range here and there just to make sure it's still calibrated or sighted in, but for most of my practice, it's 20 yards.
Yeah, and like I said, if you just shoot small stuff too, like if you have your target and you put, what I do at when I practice when it's windy or shooting close, I just put a little piece of like electrical tape, like just a little square of electrical tape, red, and just put my pin on that and try to keep it on there and shoot that electrical tape as much time as you have,
Yeah.
I do get out. I got some buddies who have like a little range set up in Lordsburg, and it goes out to 100 yards, and
nice.
we let it fly,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that's why I'm comfortable shooting a little farther too, because I'm able to, like, I've killed 2 bulls with my bow at 92 and 98 yards. But those are years that I drew this tag and I'm practicing all summer.
Yeah.
I'm hitting pie plates 4 to 5 times in a row.
Wow.
At 100 yards, it's
what sight you use?
So right now I have a B5 competition hunter sight. So it's an adjustable sight.
Gotcha.
So I have 20 to 60, and then the bottom pin works as a floater. So it has a sight tape, and then you turn your sight and it goes all the way to 100.
Wow.
I usually don't try to go past 100.
Yeah.
But if I'm practicing 110, 120, like I'll turn my bow up. And if I practice at it, then like I said, it's confidence and knowing your bow. And if I feel good, I know I can hit them that far, So.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I haven't got past like 70 where I'm confident.
And it's tough.
70 for me is like,
it's hard. Well, I've been shooting a bow since I was 14.
Okay.
Too, so I did my first archery hunt when I was 16, hunting by myself, archery.
Wow.
So I've been shooting bows and rifles for a very, very long time, and I do it quite a bit.
So what made you start hunting with a bow?
It's just my biggest thing with bow hunting is usually get the better hunts. And I say better because it's more of like the elk rut. You get the December or the January rut for deer. So the bigger bucks are going to be more visible. The bigger bulls are going to be more visible,
For those that don't know, can you explain the rut? Yeah,
so it's a time of year where most of the year the big bulls and the big bucks are going to be by themselves or in bachelor groups. And then there's, like, for elk, it's September into October. The bulls will come and it's their breeding season. So they'll be, in lack of better words, dumb.
Yeah.
They'll just be chasing the cows around. They'll be screaming. There's nothing like bugling bulls. Nothing like it.
Oh,
So they'll be out running around chasing the cows. So it's a lot easier to find big, mature bulls but it is also with the primitive weapon. You have a bow, you got to get 70 yards,
Yeah.
And then usually they have cows from 10 to 70 cows, hundreds of cows, So you got all those eyes, you got all those other animals, and you're trying to get on this one bull, So it makes it harder, but you do have better opportunities of finding more mature animals. Same for deer. They're bachelored up all year. January comes around, the does go into estrus, and the bucks come out and are dumb.
Yeah, they are.
and they chase these does around. They don't care about anything else,
Yeah, no, they're dumb, but the does aren't.
Yeah,
the does are watching always.
Oh yeah, and
they bust me every time.
Oh yeah, that's the worst. And you can't shoot does around here either.
Yeah.
Those does that are blowing at you, you just want to send an arrow at them. But yeah, and then that's the worst sound in the world when you hear that blow, and they're gonna. That buck you want to shoot is gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what really got me into the archery. The main thing that got me started was the bugling bulls. That I watched my brother. I went on a couple hunts with my brother, and even deer. I mean, you can find big bucks on the rifle hunts. Like it's possible they're around,
sure.
But it's a lot more work. It's a lot harder to find them.
You got to glass and find them.
Yeah, and you got to just cover ground in glass. But with especially elk. A lot of the times, technically, road hunting, you drive down the road, you listen in the canyon. There's 2 or 3 bulls bugling, so you dive off in the canyon.
Yeah.
And then bulls when they're not bugling is tough too. They kind of got to hunt them like you do mule deer, rifle mule deers. You got to hike and you got to spot, and then they live in a lot thicker country too in those pines where there's a lot of times you just can't glass. So it's tough, but yeah, those archery hunts are just so much better as quality wise.
For sure. And that's one of the things that got me into it as well. And those first 3-4 years with the bow, I didn't get anything because man, it's
yep.
I say it's 100 times harder than rifle.
Yeah, I would agree.
That sounds extreme, but dude, there's so many more variables and you got to get way closer.
Yeah. And I would say it's 95% luck.
Yeah.
You can scout these animals, you can practice shooting, but you can take hours on a stalk and crawl and everything, and if the wind just swirls a little bit, or if the sun shines on something, like a doe sees, it's done. They're gone. It's not like you could take a running shot at them.
No.
You know how many times I've been at about 120, 130. Even at 100 yards of these huge bucks or huge bulls, and I just can't. You just can't kill them. It's just you can't harvest them.
There's no way to advance closer because they'll see it.
Yeah, and it's tough.
It is.
But when you finally do harvest one with your bow, that feeling is awesome.
So satisfying.
Finally.
Yeah.
So
one of the best feelings.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is, even when you're not killing, you're out there and you're seeing a bunch of animals. So that's the nice part.
Oh yeah, hunt. I had this last year. I drew a Gila tag for the Gila, and it was a bull elk tag, and it was the best elk hunt, where I have a tag that I've ever been on. In the middle of big old bulls, had a couple close calls. I didn't end up killing anything. I had killed two bulls 2 years in a row that were around 300 inches, 280 inch smaller bulls. Just first time trying to get some under my belt and learn to call, learned a lot about elk, where they live and how to hunt them. So this last year I decided okay, I'm going to trophy hunt a little bit and be a little picky.
Yeah.
So I probably passed up anywhere between 8 and 12 bulls that were with 320, good 6x6 bulls. But I was also on 3 bulls that were 380 to 410, big, bulls of a lifetime, and I had one bull at 40 yards. He was with his cows all morning. We couldn't get him off, and me and my buddy Rocky were calling, and he's calling, and he pulls out a different call we haven't used, and as soon as he blows it, a cow comes running to us. Just one cow out of the herd comes running, and this bull's chasing her and get back over here,
Yeah.
He stops at 88 yards and he bugles. There's a big opening and there's a line of cedar trees, and he bugles at the edge of the cedars, and that cow ducks into the cedars And I kind of mark, the wind's kind of blowing kind of weird from left to right, but also kind of going towards him a little bit. So I tried to move to the right. That cow walked right in front of me at 40 yards. I ranged her at 40. That bull was coming out, and I could see his silhouette behind the tree, and I could see his fronts coming out before I could see his nose. That just shows you how big this bull was. And whenever he bugled, his horns he was super wide. That's because I was all amped up too. I just remember seeing this huge bull, really wide. His horns like past his back, like to his butt, just long main beams, huge bull. Man. And he came right in at 40. He was standing behind that bush at like 42 yards. That cow went by. And before he was about to step out, I started to draw back, and I just feel the wind hit the back of my arms, and that cow barked, and they never saw that bull again.
Wow.
I was about 5 seconds of good wind away from killing the bull of a lifetime. And
one shift of the wind.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
I had him at 120 yards broadside. I had him at 88 yards, like with the rifle, even a muzzle loader, I would have killed.
Easy.
Yeah, but it's just that everything has to be perfect, and it just wasn't my time to kill.
Absolutely.
And I get caught up, and I'm 26 years old, dude. I got 30 years left of bow hunting, You get caught up, I want to kill, but I got plenty of time,
Yeah.
But it's just, that's heartbreaking, man. When it's right 40 yards, dude. That's close. For a bull out.
Yeah. That's like, you're going to hit that.
You could smell them. That's how close you are to them. And it's just, and I was actually, I remember telling like my buddy and my dad, like I was locked in. Like at first I was really nervous, like when he was coming, but as soon as I saw that cow at 40 and I was about to draw, I wasn't shaking. Like I was like, this is it, this is my, and just didn't get the chance. Didn't get the chance. Had a couple close calls like that there was another bull who just didn't care about me because he was trying to find cows. I was yelling at him. I was making noise, throwing rocks. He just wouldn't stop walking. And I had him about 88 yards. He was walking just through the brush, and you can't shoot at a bull that far walking away, but he was a 360, 370 bull. I could show you some pictures after, but giant bulls, just same thing, 88 yards, 120 yards. You just can't shoot with the bow.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
But
one of the things I was thinking, I was telling my dad, because we first started hunting deer with bow.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, we need to try elk because we can call them into us. Mm-hmm. And instead of trying to sneak up on them, which is so hard, like deer, it's got to, like you said, you need a little bit of luck on your side to get them to come to you, or you meet somewhere or something, because sneaking up on them is nearly impossible.
Oh, yeah.
But with elk, you can call them into you.
Yep.
And that's where I was like, hey, we need to try this.
Trying it out.
So I finally got a tag, and it was first time ever in a new unit. And I didn't start finding them till like the last 2 days of the hunt. Yeah. So I didn't get to really get in there, but I was finally getting some bugles, and they were calling back. And man, that was
it's awesome whenever you can talk to an animal too. Like just being able to bugle and have them answer is awesome. But the other thing,
talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, the other thing about elk is they don't, like this last hunt, there would be like 2 days where I would hear bugles like crazy, and then they'd be quiet for a couple of days. So the way it works is like the cows go into estrus, like we talked about. And if a bull has 60 cows, all the cows aren't going to be at the same time. So there's different times. It's luck stuff, you got to find the herd when the cows are in heat and estrus, So bugling wise, for new hunters, I would tell them to, personally, there's people that say call. Like there's different ways. There's so many different ways you can do it. But personally, what I like to do is locate bugle. So you know where they're at. Because I hate just hiking, especially in elk country, just hiking around and then not knowing where they're at. It's because you're not going to walk up on a herd of elk. They smell so good and they see, hear. You're not going to walk up on them if you don't know they're there. You got to sneak up on them. You're going to spook them before you get a shot.
Yep.
So I like to bugle and get an answer, and then from there just take off, get to where you think that last bugle was, and once you start getting close, let out a few cow calls, try to get another answer so you know where he's at. And then the main thing is getting your wind right. Get the wind right. So if these bulls are bugling and running hard, and I've had the most luck challenging them. So instead of acting like a cow, like you want him to come get your cow, if there's a big herd bull, he's not going to leave 40 cows for that one cow on the side.
That's true.
You know? So what you need to do is get in to 100, 150 yards and start bugling, start raking a tree. It's fine if they know it. And hunting elk is a lot easier with two guys.
For sure.
So you can set up a guy at 150 yards and you could be at 100.
Yeah.
Because they know exactly where that sound's coming from. Like you're in their home. You're getting into the elk's home, you know?
Yeah.
So they know exactly where that bugle's coming from.
Uh-huh.
So you get into their little 150 yard bubble, and these bulls will get pissed. They'll start screaming, and you could hear that the anger in their bugle.
Yeah.
And once you start raking, and if you hear them raking, you know you're doing it right, because they're like, well, come get some then. You know, like they're ready to fight. And that's and you can look at all this stuff on YouTube too. Like that's honestly how I learned a lot, was just looking up these professional guys, the guys that you look up to hunting and stuff. You know. But I like to get in close and challenge them, because you can kill satellite bulls with cow calls, smaller bulls. Like if you're just starting off, like that's perfect. But once you get to where you want to kill a big bull, a big herd bull, you gotta get them in by a challenge, a challenge bugle and stuff.
What are you raking the tree with?
So usually, like I have a metal bugle tube. It's I can't remember, a Phelps.
Okay.
It's a Phelps bugle, and those sound awesome too if you can get one. I cow call and bugle in it, everything.
Oh wow!
So I'll rake with that. It has like a neoprene outside. Just rake with it. Just make the noise is all it is. But I know a lot of guys too, and I'm hoping to find a good shed this year.
Yeah.
And just carry a shed on my pack and use the actual antler to rake. You could just pick up a stick and it all sounds the same, you know. Once they're all
whack some branches.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of it too. Like I'll just shake a tree, you know, the junipers or the cedars. Just shake them, and they'll see the movement or whatever and come into it as well.
Wow.
But yeah, get in as close as you can without being spotted, because there's a bunch of cows, and you start bugling, and that bull will come check out who's gonna come try to fight you off, and that's how I've noticed people kill big bulls.
Wow.
And that's how we were able to get a couple bulls to come into, big bull to come into. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's where I struggle a little bit, is I haven't got the bugle down real good.
Yeah.
So I'll get them to talk back a little bit, and then I'll mess up a bugle or something, and it's done. But what's crazy too is, I mean, I've had bulls that were like, that's got to be a hunter. Like it's just making that high pitched noise is really it. But we've seen bulls, and I'm like, that's got to be a hunter. So we get in just to get in. We glass up this bull on the hillside, like across the canyon. He's bugling. I'm like, that dude, it sounds like a hunter, you know. It doesn't sound like a real bull. So getting a good sound isn't like too important. It's just, but it is good to practice. Get as good as you can. Oh, so you're saying it sounded like a hunter, but it was still a bull.
It was still a bull.
Okay.
Yeah. So some of them, and then like people try to say, oh, that bull sounds big, you know, like, and you can't tell.
Yeah.
Like I've seen, like, again too, we've seen bulls that were like, that's a big old bull. We get in, it's a raghorn, you know.
Yeah.
It's different voices, different people, you know. You can see this big old buff dude that has a high pitched voice, or, you know, it doesn't really, it's not really set. But yeah, and bugling is hard. Getting that reed and getting a good sound, you got to practice a bunch. Like,
you use a reed?
I do use a reed. A mouth call.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the mouth calls you put in. It's
so you can do the cow call with it too?
Both of them.
That's nice.
It makes it a lot nicer. And then
so
whenever
you can cow call, get them to stop or something.
The other thing is when you're in full draw,
yeah,
and you can just use your mouth and make a call, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
But it is very hard.
Yeah.
But what's nice is like once you get like a couple weeks, hopefully find out if we drew, then I start practicing. Like if I know I'm gonna be elk hunting this year, like I'll start soon, even if it's just a couple times a week, getting it out. And then when the hunt's coming up, August, I'll daily, you know, driving to work, driving to the store if I'm by myself. Sometimes my daughter's in the backseat. I'm like, cover your ears, you know. You just got to practice. It's with anything. It's
for sure
the same stuff, but there's really hard to beat rutting bulls,
dude.
Like that's the best. I talked about coos deer being my favorite animal, just the glassing wise, but it's really hard to beat rutting bull. But whenever they're not rutting and not being, it's the worst, because it's hard to find them.
It is
in the country that when they're not the country that they live in. They live in there for a reason, you know. That's where they're safe. And then to be able to harvest an animal like that, it's awesome.
Yeah.
You're coming into this animal's life, like into their home where they live, where they know all the exits, they know everything about it, and you're coming in trying to harvest it. It's hard.
It is. Do you eat your animals?
That's all I eat, man.
Really?
Like this last year, I was with OTC opportunities. I bought a few hunts, and with the couple hunts I drew, I killed 6 animals.
Wow.
So
What'd you get?
I killed a coos deer and a mule deer. I killed a Barbary sheep, an oryx. Yeah, me and my dad both killed oryx. That meat is awesome.
The best, dude.
Yep.
That's my favorite.
It's 100%. I think it's everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
It's better than beef. I'd rather eat
yeah.
oryx than beef.
Yeah.
Then I killed a javelina. That's 5. What else? Oh, antelope as well.
Nice.
Yeah, killed them. Also,
That's a good year.
my freezer is full, and everybody's like, "Give me some meat." It's like, no, this is I'll give you a little bit. Here's some ground. Here's some ground. Try this. But
dude, that oryx. The way I rank it, as I got deer is good, elk's better, oryx is the best.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So good.
Yeah, that's kind of the one you want to draw every year. Even the off range stuff, that's just to have a chance to, and they're big. You get a lot of meat off of them as well. So.
Did you and your dad drew?
No, so that was one of the hunts we paid for.
Okay.
We had a buddy who we bought some private land tags for,
nice.
and we went in and we both killed. We spent a weekend and killed 2 of them. We did really well. We killed 2 bulls that were his. I think his was 36, mine was 37. So they're pretty big, pretty good size bulls too. So, but yeah, and then that was something. Right now, I'm at the point where like my dad's getting a little older, so I'm trying to hunt with him as much as I can, because my grandpa passed away 4 years ago, and that memories growing up with him hunting and stuff. You think back like, man, I wish I would have taken those in a little more, So I'm trying to get some hunts with my dad and all that kind of stuff too. And
that's good, man. That's good. Yeah, no, I had an uncle like that. He was the one that taught my dad how to hunt, and he taught me. So my uncle passed away like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And man,
really makes you think, huh?
Yeah, so many good memories, but like you said, I wish I could have absorbed them better.
Yeah, and then we were young too. You don't really understand. He's that high school kid that thinks he runs the world. You know, you don't really think about stuff like that until you get a little older and start to realize, start to lose people. You know?
For sure.
So,
but yeah, no, not my deer this year, but the one before, dude. I said a prayer for my Uncle Ben right before I let that arrow go.
Yep.
And it landed home. I was like,
it's crazy how
that
stuff goes, man. How it's that spiritual stuff. How, like with the charity stuff too. Like, there's been times where we've had like, there's no way this should happen, but it happens for these kids.
Wow.
Like if I was hunting, this would never happen.
Yeah.
But like when we have these kids out, and it works out how it's supposed to.
It lines up.
Yep.
Man.
It's awesome, dude. Dude, get the chills just thinking about it, dude. It's crazy.
Dude, tell us about your program.
Yeah, so it's called United Special Sportsman's Alliance. It's based out of Wisconsin. Our CEO lives there. Her name's Bridget O'Donohue. She's been running it for a long time. They do amazing work back east. They do turkey hunts, deer hunts, bear hunts. I know it's been a couple years since, but they've granted at least 20,000 wishes, since 2000. So they do fishing trips, all that stuff. I'd like to get some fishing stuff, especially with the Elephant Butte here. So I run New Mexico and Arizona, the state rep for both states. And our main focus is disabled and terminally ill children, so 17 and under. We also do disabled veterans. And there's just some hunts that like disabled or terminally ill kids or veterans just can't go on, like those ibex sheep hunts. Some mule deer units are just too tough, so we do give them to veterans as well. We've granted a few to a couple first responders, like especially during COVID when we didn't want to bring kids who were sick or disabled out during that stuff, so we give them to first responders or veterans who are healthy. They just didn't draw tags, but it's just, like I said, everything works out perfect for those kids. It's the best. We've had a couple kids. We actually had a kid last year. We got him a mule deer tag. He killed like a 180-inch mule deer, awesome buck. And like a month later, he passed away of cancer.
Wow.
So, and then shout out to Major's Wildlife Studio here in Las Cruces. He was able to get the the mount done for him very quick, and the kid was able to have the mount before he passed away.
Wow.
So he's able to see that deer in his room before.
That's incredible.
So yeah, we get kids in wheelchairs. We had a little girl who was from Texas. She had both of her legs amputated. She killed an oryx at 460 yards.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
that's a shot.
Oh man, these kids, man, they're and she shot a little bit, but they're naturals at it too. A lot of them. We had a kid who's in a wheelchair from Arizona. He killed a mule deer, and he had never shot a gun before. He came down. The hunt started on a Saturday. He came down Friday, and it's funny because he's like, I've shot in Call of Duty, the scope and stuff. I was like, okay, so your crosshairs, you know how to use the crosshairs.
Yep.
It's like, but don't pull the trigger like you do in Call of Duty. don't just bang on that trigger.
Yeah.
So we took him out shooting. I always have these little, so it's sized down. It's a deer, and it has like the heart pointed out on the deer and stuff. And we get him at 100 yards, and he hit the heart 3 times in a row. At
first try?
Yeah.
Wow. First
3 shots of his life out of a firearm. It's like, this kid's ready, you know?
Yeah.
And that's another one where we actually had some permission to go on some private property, and I was excited to go on because that's stuff we can't hunt. I won't ask for myself. I save asking favors for the charity, you know? So we were driving in to the private, and on the state line before we get, like on the state property, before we get to the private, there was a buck 150 yards off the road, and he shot it right there. Sun wasn't, it was shooting hours had barely started.
Wow.
We were just driving in, and he killed the buck right there, you know.
Beautiful.
150 yards, dropped him perfect.
Boom.
So, yeah, we actually have an adaptive shooting device as well.
I think I've seen it on your Instagram.
Yeah, so it mounts to their wheelchairs. It's for like kind of more like paraplegic or kids that can't move very much. It has a little like toggle switch, like a toggle joystick, and we connect a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth thing to the scope. So they have like an iPad or a cell phone, and they're able to aim with the toggle switch,
nice.
Toggle joystick.
That's cool.
And they've sucked through a straw, and it actuates an actuator that pulls the trigger real slow, and it shoots like that.
Wow.
So talking about how, like, I don't know how religious you are, but talking about like God being in these hunting stuff, we had this kid in a wheelchair in the back of the truck, and this bull oryx on range. We jump them off the road at 50 yards. And everybody that hunts oryx knows that these guys don't stop. You know, they move all day. You spook them. You can watch them run for 4 miles, you know, like they don't stop. We jumped this bull 50 yards off the road. He saw us. We tried to get on him. He took off. He ran 200 yards off the road, and he laid down. I've never seen an oryx lay down unless they've been shot. Like, I've never seen a bedded oryx unless they've been shot. You know? It's crazy. They're just always moving. So this bull gets up, or he jumps up, takes off, stops at 200 yards, and lays down. We get him set up. We back the truck up. He works his joystick. I tell him, okay, put the crosshairs like right where the tip of his horns are. And once he stands up, you'll be right in the middle of his chest. So he set it up. He got on there. I got the straw ready for him. And one of the guys that was with us walked out to the left a little bit off the road. So he wasn't in the line of fire, but he walked left. And he was whistling, making some noise. And that bull stood up and looked at him. And the kid made a perfect shot, hit him in the chest. It went 100 yards and died.
Wow.
So that's just that's not going to happen, you know. It's not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
But it happens,
wow.
You know, for these kids. We had another kid on a coos deer hunt. And coos deer, like I said before, they live in this country that's hard to get to. You got to hike your butt off. You got to get up there. And we hunted all morning. We didn't even see a deer. Like that's coos deer hunting, you know. And we told this kid, like, hey, we're going to head back down. We head back down a little bit. We meet up with some family members who are hunting mule deer in the lower stuff, and we're just talking. It's noon. We're just standing around talking loud. And I look to my left, and I see some movement, probably 300-400 yards away. And this big old coos deer buck, dude, like 100-inch buck, walks from 400 yards to 90 yards, right to us, standing in the open. We're on the tripod. We got the gun locked in on the tripod. It was a muzzleloader hunt. And this buck walks 90 yards from us.
Wow.
Unfortunately, the kid kind of had an incident where he was scared to shoot. He was scared of the gun. He was kind of, just the pressure got to him, you know.
And it's a big deal.
Yeah, it was. And taking a life, you know, it's a lot. He wasn't ready for it like we thought he was. And he didn't end up shooting it. But to have a coos deer walk 400 yards and come right next to you at 90 yards is insane. You know,
Insane.
it's just
Doesn't happen.
It doesn't. it just happens. It just God has these hunts planned out
For sure.
and we had a bull tag, muscle dystrophy, can't really walk. You know, it's and I actually carried this kid piggyback a couple times up some mountains and stuff to get him in position on some bulls. And me and my dad went up the day before, and we found this spot where there was like 5 or 6 bulls just going crazy. There was one giant bull, like huge bull up high, and there's 5 or 6 satellites just wanting to get to the herd, you know. So the first day we went in there, and I carried him probably only like about a mile up a finger onto like in the middle of all these bulls. And we got him up there, we got him set up. And we're calling, you know, and we had 2 bulls walk within 20 yards of us, and one of them bugled at about 30 yards, like, and we called them baby giants because they were smaller bulls. Like, they had the 6x6 frame. You could tell their body is super young, face is super young, but they had the Gila genetics. The Gila is just different, and they were probably 320 bulls, but they were young. So like, if they can survive 3 years, they'd be 4 big bulls, you know. So. Yeah. We let them go because we had this with this tag. We're like, we can kill something big, you know. Yeah. So we were waiting for that big one, and we kept taking him up the hill. But as we were moving, he was moving up too. He just kept getting out of that range, you know. Just wasn't able to get a shot. But at one point, when one of the bulls walked by, the kid grabbed his dad's hand and he put it on his chest, and he told him, "I could feel my heart beating." Like, so that's what it's all about, dude, you know. And then that kid we ended up finding a big old bull 200 yards off the road, and he was able to shoot him. So.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. But, I mean, the buck fever, dude. And then for those kids, like, to feel that, oh, man.
Yeah. And
can you talk a little bit about buck fever?
I get that stuff still.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
oh, yeah.
Once you stop getting that is when you probably shouldn't hunt anymore.
Exactly.
That's what you got, that adrenaline rush, that excitement. That's something you share with whoever you're hunting with, too. You know, that's something you don't forget.
Yeah, yeah.
And I used to get it a lot worse. You get to where you could kind of control a little bit more, but... Like you said, that's what you go hunting for. That feeling whenever you finally jump that buck or you find that bull and you're behind the gun and you gotta, all right, this is my chance, you know.
For sure.
But yeah, and then it's so much, like you said, you took that guy the first time, he probably got buck fever like crazy. You know?
Yeah.
And just a small buck or whatever, you know, it doesn't have to be huge. Just that first time, you know, you can't beat it, man.
Sure. My son too. He was there and he's getting ready to shoot. I'm like, all right, whenever you're ready.
Shaking.
And he's looking through the scope and then he goes,
yeah.
I'm like, buddy, you got to look through the scope. I'm like, let's go, lock in. He looks up.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, come on, breathe.
Yep.
You got this. Just taking time.
It's the best, dude. And it doesn't discriminate.
Yeah.
You can be 8 years old. You could be 80 years old.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna get that. And I've gotten a lot better myself because of helping people hunt. So like, I know, like, I gotta calm down so I can get the shooter to be calm and be confident. You know, like there's hunts with the kids where it gets kind of frustrating too. You know, because you're like, it's right there, it's right there. You're like, yeah, get him. But you get better at it where you're like, okay, take a deep breath. Like you know you can shoot. Like you kind of turn into a coach. You know, you start coaching. You know, pretty much. But like I said, I've had kids where I got to be like that, or have adults where like, all right, you know what to do, like just relax, you know. It's just, but it's hard. It's easy to say, but once you're in that moment,
in your scope,
especially when you got a bow full draw and there's a 40 yards, there's a huge bull bugling or something, you know, that's shaking. But yeah, that's what you hunt for. I've seen people miss at 60 yards, 40 yards, 100 yards, all the way out to they get the fever at 600-700 yards. You know, it happens.
It does.
That's what it's for.
Yeah, it's one of the beautiful aspects of hunting for sure.
Oh yeah.
Saw you picked up a trad bow recently.
Oh yeah, that was my first time, and it was a javelina.
Yeah,
those are a little bit easier. They don't see very good. They could smell and hear really well. So if you get the wind good, you can get in close on them. But man, it's humbling too.
Yeah,
that traditional bow is that recurve is hard, man. And I was like, I'm not going to shoot farther than 15 yards with this thing, you know, like and that's kind of pushing it, you know. Yeah. And I didn't get too, I just bought one off Amazon, a deer seeker, like a good, and it was I think mine's at 60 pounds. But you just got, it's the same thing. That one you have to practice even more.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of
Instinct.
people. Yeah.
Or how do you aim?
I kind of did more of I do 3 fingers,
Okay.
and I have them on my chin, so I can look down the arrow.
Gotcha.
And that makes, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it, but that's the way I liked, because I can see the arrow. That's how I found myself to be more accurate.
Gotcha.
But there's a lot that goes into it too, like your knocking point, you know, like how you have
your draw,
how you hold it, the draw length, everything comes together where that arrow's got to fly straight. The arrow weight, you know, like I was pulling back 60 pounds, so I needed a heavy arrow. When I shot the lighter arrows, it would be flimsy and go kind of crazy. But I mean, I shot that heavily at 8 yards. You know, it was laying down in the field, and I crawled up there, snuck up there, and at 8 yards, it's kind of hard to miss, you know. So, but that's like my mule deer this year. Like I was thinking about it, I should have taken it, because I ended up shooting my buck at 18 yards.
Dude.
So I would have had a chance. He was bedded at 18 yards.
Oh,
so
wow.
I would have been able to probably use my recurve bow too. You know? So, but it's just so hard.
Yeah.
Because you think about getting in close with the compound, and then that cuts your compound more than half, you know?
Yeah, more than half.
So, yeah, that's it. I feel like after I get some more kills under my belt with my compound, and that's something that in the future that I'd really like to start pursuing as well, is try to get at least a bull elk, because I feel like a bull elk probably would be the easiest, you know, because you can call them in close.
Right.
You know, you can get them in. People shoot them close.
Like 10 yards.
Yeah. So that's one way to use a longbow or a traditional bow. But I would hate to have my longbow in my hands and have a bull at 50 yards. You know, like, come on.
Outside.
Yeah. So, and with my luck, that would happen. But that's definitely something that maybe even in the near future that I'm going to start trying to, because like I said, with that Arizona tag, it's mule deer, coos deer, and in Arizona you could shoot a spike. So that's one tag that you get 72 days. You know, like if you have time to get out, you can really. The more stalks you make, the higher chances you go. You know,
for sure.
And there's plenty of deer in Arizona where you can get on them and chase them every time. Even in August, you can get out and find deer. You know, so
Gotcha.
super hot. It's 110. You know.
Oh yeah.
Want to be hunting with the cutoff T-shirt, but it's fun, and it's like relaxing. You know, you get out there, you shoot, and it just makes you feel better. You know, rough day. It's the best, dude.
That I got myself a traditional bow as well, recurve. I was playing with it, dude. Man, I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking about getting one before this last hunt.
Yeah,
and I was like, I don't have enough time to get good with it.
Get good, yeah.
And then shoot a deer. But then my hunt came around, similar to yours. I got to 15 yards from the buck, but he was behind a tree. So I was like sidestepping to get an angle on him.
Yeah.
And he finally saw me, popped up, stopped 30 yards broadside.
That's
Stuck him. But I was like, man, I could have hit him with a recurve.
Yeah. Well,
but then I was talking to the guys at the bow shop. They're like, dude, 30 yards is a long shot.
Far with the recurve.
I was like, really?
Yeah.
And then, I tried it at setting up my target. I was like, oh yeah. That's a long shot.
Like, the guy you need to check out is Tim Wells.
Okay. The slot, or does he like?
He does blow darts.
Yeah,
he does all kinds but he shoots ducks out of the air with the recurve. Like he shot some like a tar at like 120 yards running with the recurve. Like, whoa, this dude's insane. Like, check him out. Check out his videos. It's awesome.
Heck yeah.
But yeah, that I think about that all the time. Is like. But the good thing about the recurve is, like, with the compound, you have to draw, you have to get your eye right, you have to get a good, like with that, it's like you said, it's instinct.
Yep.
So if you're able to just jump something real quick,
boom,
by the time you draw and shoot at everything else, they're gone.
Yeah.
But like if you're just
ranging them,
you don't have to worry about that, none of that stuff. So, but yeah, that's a big plus, is not having just instincts.
And that's how this last one was. He jumped up so quick when he stopped at 30 yards. I didn't range him or nothing. I just guessed. I was like, okay, he's 30 yards, and I guessed right.
Yep.
But I was like, could have done that with the recurve.
Close. Yeah.
Me thinking I could,
A big thing for archery hunting too is, like, I've learned it's hard in January because they're so active running. But midday stuff, if you could find them bedded, that's the best way to sneak up on animals when they're laying down. Especially those bucks, because if you can get them where they're bedded. But this is like you said before, everything has to be perfect. The wind's got to be blowing the right way. Downwind from the does, and they got to be like away from the does. So like if you get a buck where he's bedded above his does and the wind's blowing up the hill, that's get up above him. You can get in really close that way.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
but you gotta spot him.
That's the thing. You
That's
got
the hard part. It's hard to spot them when they're bedded.
Tripod.
Yeah, I know.
Get your tripod out. Yeah, it works good.
I saw
looks good.
Steve Ranella.
Yeah.
Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
I saw him using a tripod.
The Meat Eater podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Now you're saying it.
Yeah. Every hunt, like the big hunting guys that you watch on YouTube or like on TV, they all use tripods, and there's really good tripods out there. But like I said, you just got to get what you can afford. That's my biggest take on starting out.
Absolutely.
Don't go too crazy.
Yeah.
You don't need like huge, expensive stuff. Get good stuff, but what you can afford. Because then,
especially as a beginner.
Yeah.
And then once you get good, then okay, this is what I need, and you have the experience. You're like, okay, this didn't work that great. I need to upgrade this piece of gear.
Yep. Exactly. Yes, because some guys, if you have the money and you can afford it, do what you can.
All out.
Yeah, but if you just want to get started and you don't want to take too much, you can get started hunting and do well.
Yeah,
do well. So
in 2025, why is it important to still hunt?
Honestly, like my biggest thing now, I know you do a lot of house stuff, and that's this meat that we harvest. There's nothing in it. You know exactly, like it's been eating this grass that's on this hillside. That's what it's been eating, these cactuses.
Yeah.
Like exactly where it's coming from. That's what I love about it too. Of course, everybody wants the big horns and the big mount on the wall and stuff, but my daughter, she's 3 years old. She's been eating ground and eggs and cheese. She loves that stuff. Burritos, whatever.
That's awesome.
And that's what we feed our families with. I had killed 6 animals, so I got meat for a year. I don't have to go to the grocery store. I don't have to spend, and everybody knows how expensive that is at the grocery store right now. Just open my fridge and my freezer, and I got it full of whatever I want to eat that day. Antelope, oryx, elk, deer, whatever I feel like eating.
Steaks, ground,
sausage, summer sausage. Jerky sticks. There's plenty of good butchers that can do any of that stuff you like.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I like, and my biggest thing for hunting now, like I told the CEO lady, is if I get to take these kids on these hunts, like I don't have to kill anything anymore. I don't have to draw any tags.
Yeah.
Like being able to take these kids, man, has been real eye-opening and a real blessing for me in my life. And I know like the people that come with me, it really affects them personally too. Yeah. Like it really shows you like your life's not bad. It's not that bad. We got these kids who got a couple years to live. We're battling cancer. And we had a little girl who was 14. She beat leukemia twice already. In 14 years, she had to beat leukemia twice. Just makes you really realize that your life's not bad. And we get to enjoy the outdoors. And these kids some of them are in wheelchairs. We can't take them off the road. So like they don't get to get the full experience of hiking and the pack out and all stuff, but we help them experience what they can.
Yeah, they get a taste.
Yeah, and they get hooked on it too.
Yeah.
And another big thing that really sits with me well is the kid from Arizona. Like I said, he never shot a gun before, and about 6 months after the hunt, his mom messaged me. And I just want to say thank you for this hunt, because he's really come out of his shell after this. It's given him a lot of confidence.
Wow.
And his life has improved so much from just an experience and having confidence,
That's powerful.
Yeah, that stuff and we have all these big tough guys, on these hunts, and this kid shoots this animal and he's crying and he's telling you thank you, and you're like, thank you. Everybody, all these big macho hunters are all here all crying around this animal,
Yeah.
Like telling, no, thank you for this. Like you don't know like what it does for us too,
Yeah.
So yeah, it really is an eye opener to life.
No, I totally understand. I mean, just helping my coworker get one, I almost teared up with him. Yeah. I can't imagine helping a kid like that. Dude.
Yeah, especially a kid who's sick and they don't got much time left. It's
beautiful.
It's crazy.
Beautiful.
But it's really opened my eyes. Like this year, I in a couple weeks I'm actually going to New Zealand. I have a red stag hunt planned, and then I also booked
tag?
A red stag.
Red stag.
Yeah, in New Zealand.
Those are gorgeous.
It's my first time going out of the country. But this last year, and I've kind of like got this urgency to like just start living, like, I mean, I can hunt in Mexico. There's plenty of great opportunities, but like I just have this sense of urgency, and I'm blessed monetarily and all that stuff where I have a job that I'm able to take time off and I'm able to afford some of this stuff, So I booked that stag hunt. I booked a mountain goat hunt in British Columbia as well.
Oh, wow.
So that's going to be a 10-day in the wilderness, fly in, land on a lake, drop us off for 10 days, go kill a mountain goat and come back.
That's epic.
Yeah, you see all these guys on YouTube and stuff too, and they talk about like die with memories and not dreams. Like that's, and I can save my money. Like so don't go get broke.
Yeah.
Don't go, be smart with your money. Like I'm not saying to be completely, but take some risk, like enjoy your life while you're young. Because we talk about playing sports. We played 4 sports, my body's feeling it now. Yeah. And by the time I'm 50 or 60, when I'm retiring, I'll have all this money, but what am I going to do with it? Exactly. There's no way I'm going to last 10 days in the wilderness of British Columbia,
Yeah.
So if you can do it, if it's not going to completely make you broke, like take some risk, go on some hunts, spend a little bit of money on what you love. That saying, it's from the Mountain Project. There's like YouTube guys, they hunt, and they just dropped a really cool video, like 3-minute video on their Instagram. It talks about the old man that you're going to be in 40 years. What are you doing for him right now? So like, I just think like I'd rather die with memories and not dreams.
That's beautiful.
That's a big. I have a shirt and everything.
Yeah, you got me fired up right now.
Yeah, dude. It's just like I really, this last couple years, I'm really like I gotta do what I can, Yeah. And like I said, with making memories with your son or making memories with your dad, because you lose people and you realize that I can drive home and die in a car crash. Yeah. You never know,
Life's short. You
gotta live while you can. And my body too, like my knees hurt, my back hurts, from football, getting football, baseball, basketball, track and baseball at the same time. Uh-huh. It's just you put a lot of wear and tear on your body.
No doubt. And not to mention all these hikes and
everything. Yeah, pack outs, carrying 120 pounds of elk meat on your back, coming out 4 or 5 miles, through elk country. It's a lot of wear and tear. And I wish I knew now, like a lot of the recovery and health stuff that I know when I was growing up, in high school, and taking care of myself a little better, because I've had 2 knee surgeries, and that's kind of my main reason now is like I want to do these hunts while I can.
For sure.
Like I want to be able to go hike and get back in this nasty stuff while I can.
No doubt. Have you heard of the Knees Over Toes program?
A little bit. I don't know too much about it. I think I've heard of it.
The Knees Over Toes guy. He went on Rogan.
Oh, okay.
He has this program, dude, to rehab knees. He had surgeries on both of them as well.
Yeah.
And before the surgeries, like he couldn't even touch rim.
Yeah.
After the surgeries, he can dunk a basketball, like windmill and stuff. So
I'll have to check it out.
Check it out, man.
Yeah, because my knees are shot, man. Like it's pain that you just got to push through when you're hiking and stuff too. But I just recently started to notice, like you're an athlete your whole life, you're in good shape, 18, 19, 20, you're still feeling good, 21, all that stuff. And this last year was the first year I was like, okay, I need to start taking this serious. Like my body's getting a little chubbier, I'm getting more weight. That's got to hurt my knees too, like I got this pain when I'm walking in my back, so I need to start taking it a lot more serious. And what's helped me a lot too, I'm definitely going to look into that Knees Over Toes, because if I could fix my knees, I think that would fix my back. That would be a start.
For sure.
Because that's what started all the pain, was the knee injuries. Uh-huh. But my sister Brandy, she's a NP, she's a nurse practitioner, and she has her own practice. Mm-hmm. It's called Mind Body Reset, and she does peptides. She does really? She'll do a blood draw. So you get she'll draw your blood and see what you're missing, what you need. She'll get you supplements for it. She's pretty much like your personal doctor for like a monthly subscription stuff, So
that's
a good. Yeah,
I've been looking into peptides.
Yeah, her Instagram is Brandy Chavez MBR. It's Mind Body Reset, but it's Brandy Chavez MBR.
Gotcha.
So yeah, she does all that stuff. She's out of Albuquerque, so she's local, But yeah, that's being able to see what's going on with my body from the inside.
Yeah.
And then being able to start working on that and working on all that other stuff too.
For sure.
And the diet stuff too. Like I eat a lot of meat, like all the meat we kill, but I laugh because we see these Instagram stuff where my body's a temple, and then the weekend comes around and we're out of town eating burgers and eating tacos, So I just I can do it. I just gotta lock in a little bit more on the diet and stuff, and I also recently just quit drinking.
Oh wow.
I didn't really drink a lot, but enough to feel it,
Yeah.
So that's
what
something.
Sparked
that? Just a little bit of like just mental realization, like a Saturday, like I got some stuff to do, I feel like crap, or like I've been busting my butt all week in the gym, I feel good, and then go out Saturday and get drunk and you feel like all that progress is just wasted. So, and part of Brandy's stuff, I recently found I'm having some liver issues, like just I don't know if it's just getting old or what. We just recently found out, so it's on top of that. Like I stopped drinking 2 weeks ago. I just found out about that like the other day, 2 days ago. So it's nothing too major, but it's just kind of like a start. Like, yeah, I'm on the right track. Like I need to keep this up. So
yeah, good luck with that, bro.
Yeah, it's you find out who your friends are too.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
That's what fun am I gonna have with my friends if we're not out at the bar drinking? Like I got my buddy Rocky. The last 2 weekends, every Sunday we go and we just hike around looking for sheds or just kind of getting a workout in while discovering some new area.
Yeah,
like you start to get your friend group a lot smaller.
Yeah, for sure. So. Yeah, it's like, oh, we can't hang out when we're not drinking.
Yeah, that's, what else do we do when we're not drinking? When do we hang out? It's a lot different. But yeah, when you can start the people you can start having fun with without having to drink is your group.
For sure. That's beautiful, man.
That's hard too, coming from a small town.
Absolutely.
Because there's not a lot of people that are going to share your same values and same stuff you like.
Yep.
Like, luckily, I got a couple friends who, hey, it's Sunday, let's go walk around. It's Saturday, let's go just walk around the mountains, look for sheds, just learn some new area, So I'm in the right track right now. I'm taking those steps to get. Like I said, man, you live your whole life as an athlete. You're in great shape. You think you're Superman.
Yep.
And then you start drinking, you start eating, and you start working. 60 hours a week, you start working and you start getting tired and get a little lazy. It gets everybody. It'll get you.
No doubt.
But the biggest thing is the realization.
Yes, like the awareness.
The awareness. That's what's really got me in the right direction. Is like I was hiking, especially this Barbary sheep pond. Like I got some buddies who are a little younger, 23, 24. And they're smoking
like
me.
Billy goats.
I'm like, dang, that used to be me. Like, what's going on? You know, like that was in December, and that was like a real, like, okay, like something's going on here, And then we had some more hunts. Didn't really think about it too much, but after the season ended, and I was like, all right, this is the time I got to start locking, especially spending 10 days in the wilderness, like I'll die out there. Like I gotta get my stuff back. I gotta get back
time to lock in.
Yeah. So that's,
dude, check out that Knees Over Toes program.
I will.
I used it to rehab a torn MCL.
Okay.
And I went from where I could, like, just crawling out of bed hurt. Yeah. And then now, dude, my knees feel stronger than before the injury.
Yeah, I would love to get back to that. Just day-to-day stuff, walking upstairs, it hurts,
For sure.
Like, and then I think that's caused a lot of my issues because, like, I'm compensating. Because I know this, like, my brain knows this knee's going to hurt.
100%.
Like, now that I'm feeling a little bit better, like, I've been doing workouts, just stuff that I remember I did from physical therapy from my surgeries. I've been doing some workouts and stuff. And when I'm hiking, I really have to, like, focus, like, to use this leg.
Don't
more.
Compensate.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's what's kind of made my back pain and made me
the off balance.
Crooked. Yep.
100%.
I think that's, and I don't know for sure, but I feel like my sophomore year was my first knee injury. 15 years old, and had surgery, and I feel like I grew a little bit after that, and I think my left leg didn't grow as much. So I think my right leg's it feels a little longer. So I'm just a little off,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff I'm gonna be working through, but like my sister with that mind body reset stuff, man. She does dry needling, she does all that stuff, and it's crazy what's out there that you can really help yourself with.
Totally. Dude, I'm definitely going to check that out because I've been curious about peptides myself. I've got this injury in my elbow from a jiu-jitsu tournament. I got arm barred and he hyperextended it. Yeah. And I didn't feel pain because my adrenaline was going. And then it popped, pop. Yeah. And from what I've researched and felt, I think it's tendons, bro. And because I can feel it from my pinky all the way in, all the way up to into my back. And from what I've seen, dude, tendons do not heal.
They don't.
Like it takes forever. Like it's better to tear a ligament or a muscle
than to
break a bone. Yeah. So, and I've heard that BPC 157 can help with tendons.
I'm actually taking BPC 157 and the TB 500 right now. And I've been 4 weeks, 6 weeks, and that's what's made my knee so much better.
Really?
Yeah, it's helped out a lot.
Wow.
It's helped out a lot. And
any side effects?
I haven't found nothing at all.
Because see, that's what
there's not a lot of
studies.
Yeah, there's not a lot of information on them yet, but
my
knee's been so bad. There's a lot of good reports, and my knee's been so bad. I was like, if there's a little bit, like I'll I'll deal with it for
the knees to get back.
Yes,
for sure.
And it's just I'm able to push my knee now, and like away, like just from December, how it felt in December to now, like I've only been 6 weeks. It's night and day.
Yeah.
So that's really helping me, and I know it's not the BPC 157 and the other peptide, but mentally, like you're more confident too. Yeah. Like it's like, okay, my knee's good. Like I'm gonna work out more. Like it helps, because with my knee hurting, it kind of caused that, like, man, I don't want to go work out because my knee's just gonna hurt. I don't want to go run because
it just starts a chain reaction.
Yeah, and then everything starts. It's crazy how your whole life changes with it.
Yeah,
you know? But like running now, like I've been running on the track. It's a little bit easier, try to drop some weight, stay on the track on the rubber where it's a little nicer to your knees, and then start doing some road running and maybe some trail running stuff to get in shape. But
the number one exercise from the knees over toes guy is pulling a sled backwards.
Okay. Yep. And I've seen some of that, and then I see like walking on a treadmill. Stuff like
with
that.
With it off?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the number one, he says.
I did buy like half of a medicine ball, and then like where you stand on it and it works on the balance stuff. I remember doing
Stability.
that. I remember doing that in therapy. But I have like my nieces in high school, I have her doing that too, just to build some, so to help her not get injured.
For sure.
So, but yeah, it's a complete, and it's crazy because you can drop into a rabbit hole of how to get better. Just, you just got to take your simple baseline and just stick with something. Like that's consistency. That's what I've learned with that.
No doubt. One step at a time.
But yeah, like you said, that fitness and hunting, that stuff, it's
important.
Hand in hand, man.
Yeah.
It's because you can get hurt.
Oh yeah.
Like
twist an ankle.
Ankles, anything, back, carrying weight, it's just, it's not, there's a lot of out country that's real rocky, walking on unstable ground. It's not easy. No doubt. This last couple years has really been like, okay, I'm not the 20-year-old athlete playing college baseball that I used to be. I can't squat 415 and bench 315 in the same day anymore. Like it's just, I got to realize that that's not me no more. And I got to get back to be as close as I can.
For sure.
Cause like even after the police academy, 19 years old, we were running 12 miles in the academy. Like one of the days we ran like 12. So it's like, I think of running a mile now. I'm like, dang, this is taking 3 hours. So it's just, and it gives you something to train for. Like as we talked about sports, like you have that championship, you have that game to win, you have, you have something to train for. And now like I got this mountain goat hunt, I got these other hunts, you got an elk hunt, like you April, you got an elk hunt. May, June, July, August, September. That's 5 months to train for this hunt. So that is a big plus too with hunting, is it gives you something to, and you should want to get trained for your health. Like you talked about having one life and stuff, and it being short, but it's that little extra motivation. It's not bad.
For sure. For sure. It's like the championship.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's like, all right, we got the hunt coming up. I gotta be in shape to get through those 10 days. Like
you got your season coming up, your season, and then you got that championship game in September, but I've really started to like my biggest thing is hiking. Like I want to get where I can carry 100, 150 pounds like nothing. Like that's that. So I'm kind of leaning towards that. My biggest thing was I wanted to just like try to drop weight as fast as I can, which it doesn't happen fast, but drop weight and then start really training on hiking and all that stuff. That's what I do. I can run marathons. I don't do that.
Yeah,
I don't run marathons.
Exactly.
I hike, so that getting a little more, I guess I can't find the word for it, like
specified or specialized.
Yeah, specialized in what I'm going to be doing, hiking and all that stuff. So that's part of me and my buddy doing every Sunday. We've been going out and hiking, just putting some weight, some water in our packs, a little heavy, and
nice.
And going. I'm also doing a thing right now with Matt Aguilera. He's a graduate from Lordsburg as well, and he started a scholarship. His mother passed away a couple years ago. I think it's 2 now of cancer, and I've been wanting to find like a scholarship to do for somebody from Lordsburg. So I'm rucking 50 miles this month with 50 pounds, and I'm donating $500 to the scholarship.
Wow.
So yeah, he started he's rucking 100 miles. He's taking like donations from the miles and stuff, and for every mile he does, people are donating and stuff. Wow. So he's doing 100 miles, but I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to do that quite yet. My body's not ready for that.
50 is a lot.
So 50 is, I'm at 10 some today. I have some planned tonight too. So just try to do it, couple here and there,
chip
and then
away.
Some big ones on the weekends,
Yeah.
So, but that's something cool to train for,
For
so
sure.
Another thing of specialized training.
Yes, sir.
And it's for a good cause.
No doubt.
So, but that's what's rucking with 50 pounds. That's hunting.
Yep.
You're walking around with all your gear, your pack. These hunts, the other hunts we got planned is going to be like backpacking. So you're carrying your food, you're carrying your tent, you're carrying your sleeping bag, you're carrying everything in your pack. Your pack's going to weigh 100 pounds.
Easy.
And then what happens whenever you kill a 100-pound deer?
You got to bring the meat out.
100 pounds of meat, So
Yep.
then that's
It's going to be a mission.
Yeah.
It's going to be a mission.
Yeah. So there's some specialized stuff that really helps get going and all this
Dude,
stuff.
with all your hunts and then the hunts you're doing with the program, how many hunts are you going on in a year?
So last year, I have my buddy Kevin Hill. He builds custom rifles, and I bought a rifle from him this last year. And with his 2 rifles that I got from him, I killed 18 animals between those 2. Like through my hunts, the charity hunts, my family's hunts.
Wow!
And that's just hunts that we killed on. There was a couple we went that we didn't get animals as well. So
that's awesome.
But like at work, we work 410s. We get some good vacation time, so I'm able to take 1 day off of vacation and have 5 days off, sometimes. So I'm able to, like I said, dude, I'm with this job, and I'm super blessed to be able to go to work and work at work and then have a life outside of it as well.
That's awesome.
So, but yeah, I think we did altogether like 18 or 19 charity hunts last year.
Wow.
So that includes the veterans and the first responders and stuff too. But yeah,
that's awesome.
It's just growing too. So like the way we get tags is, say you draw your deer tag, or your son draws his deer tag, and you decide that you can't make it. Like you got something come up, or you just can't make it out there. You could donate the tag back to the state, and then there's a couple charities in the state that the state will disperse them out throughout the state. So it's kind of tough though, because we do get, like, they'll call us Monday, like, hey, we have a hunt, start Saturday. So we're like trying to scramble and get. So what I try to do is I try to get a list of kids that are like, hey, it's kind of like an on-call list, like, hey, we got this hunt, can you make it? No, I'll move to the next one.
Gotcha.
I'm just having trouble finding kids in New Mexico.
Okay.
Like with kids with disabilities, or someone that are willing that want to go hunting. What I'm hoping to do is I'm hoping to start some fishing stuff. Like take some kids out from Albuquerque to like Fenton Lake. There's a lake and there's a hatchery there. Maybe get some guides off of Elephant Butte that would take a couple kids on the boat to go fishing for a day. Just do some stuff like that, and get these kids kind of outside, and because it's kind of intimidating, especially for a kid who doesn't have a lot of confidence, maybe in a wheelchair or something like that. To get them out and take them out to go kill an animal. it's
Or
kind
the
of asking a lot.
to be interested as well.
Parents as well. And that's the main thing I try to push with the parents is I tell them, like, our main priority is not to harvest an animal. Like, that's the goal. Like, everybody wants to, but your child's safety, your child's comfort, and an enjoyable experience is what we're here for. Like, to help them boost their confidence, or to show them that this is what they can do. Or if they are dying and this is their wish, like, this is what they want. They want to kill an elk, or they want to kill a deer. Like, that's what we're here for,
For sure.
But the safety, because there's been times where we've had bulls and I'm like, I can carry this kid, but he's uncomfortable with me carrying him. We're not going to force, I'm not going to drag him out of the car and make him go. It's just safety and comfort, and because it's got to be enjoyable. It's like we talked about with the gear and the boot. Like, if you're miserable, like completely miserable, like your first couple times, you're not going to go back.
Right.
Like, now I enjoy the miserable stuff, like,
yeah.
And it's raining and snowing, you're on a crazy hill. Like, that's what you're out there for, to feel that, and whenever you do kill something after that, it makes it that much better. But for kids or for beginners and stuff, they got to have a little bit of comfort, a little bit of fun to make them, to really get them hooked on it,
For sure.
So, like, one of my sisters, she killed her first, Brandy, the one that does, she killed her first game animal this year. She's an adult. My family's been hunting forever, and this is her first time. But I think what happened was, when she was little, they went out hunting and walked all day long and didn't see anything. So that kind of pushed her away from it.
Man, this sucks.
Like, growing up, that's how we hunted. Like, you just walk until you run into animals. And looking back now, I'm like, that's dumb. Like, you got to get up glass. Like, it's good if you know where there's animals, a good hike and glass spots, then that's different. But just walking around looking for stuff, don't get me wrong, you can get lucky. Like, you people kill animals like that, but taking kids out and stuff and having them walk 10 miles and not see an animal, that's gonna push them away from it.
I was so glad we found my son's quick, because if he had to walk a whole bunch, he might have felt a little different after the hunt.
No, I don't want to go anymore. It's not fun,
Exactly.
But once you get older, you can start getting into the harder hunts. And with tags getting harder to draw, you kind of start looking at, okay, this unit isn't as good, but I can go hunting. So, like, you start to find these units that you got to hike in 5 miles, sleep there, and then find animals there, So once you get a little older, but for these kids, man, it's our main thing is just trying to make it fun for them and enjoyable. That's the hardest. Sure. That's the main focus.
So how can people find you guys?
So we have a website, United Special, or it's actually called childswish.org, and there we can make donations there. Just if you do make a donation for us, it's just put into the comments that it's for the New Mexico chapter, so she'll know where it's coming from. I have an Instagram just for that, and then my Facebook is my personal one, and I post the charity stuff. But we also do have USSA, like, general.
What are those Instagram handles? So we'll include everything in the description.
It'll be Special Sportsman's _NM_AZ. So that's the one for my Instagram, and then it's under Johnny Plowman on Facebook. But I post all the same stuff on both of them. But it's so awesome how we get people to help too. Like, I reach out to a hunting company or to like a rifle company, and they're willing to help us out. They send us a discount code, or Sitka sent us some camouflage one year. Like, if everybody gets on board. And when I have hunts and need help, I usually have more help than we need.
Yeah.
So
it's beautiful.
Yeah, everybody comes together for them.
Right on. Yeah. Got a couple closing questions, and we'll wrap this thing up.
Yeah, sounds good.
You read books?
I haven't recently. I that's another thing where getting on this track, I've really thought about taking a dive and getting some books to start reading and stuff too. So,
do you have a top 3 or?
Well, I what's the Summer Moon one you've
Empire of the Summer
Empire
Moon?
of the I'm really interested in that stuff because Lordsburg has a lot of that history.
Really?
Like the Chiricahuas, like Geronimo, like all those guys, they all lived in that area. That's where they lived their life. That's where they traveled. That's where they had all these big fights. Tombstone's an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of culture there from back then. And there's actually a canyon where we go hunting. It's called Doubtful Canyon because that's where the Indians lived, and it was doubtful you made it through. Like there's a lot of that. The Chiricahuas, that's where the Apaches and Geronimo, there's on the skyline of the Chiricahuas there you can see like a forehead and a nose and lips. So they say it's Geronimo sleeping in the mountains there.
Oh, wow.
Like that's it. There's a lot of that rich history there from all the Cowboys Indian stuff, you know. So I really liked some of that stuff. I kind of want to get into some of that, and then like I listen to a lot of Andrew Huberman stuff.
Heck
I like
yeah.
a lot of his stuff, and of course the Goggins stuff. You know,
Yeah.
whenever you start feeling like I don't want to work out, you just open Instagram and there's Goggins
Yelling at you. Oh yeah.
So that I know he has a book and stuff. Just kind of the getting back on track and getting back to being who I want to be again. You know.
Heck yeah.
But
I know
you
it's
got some
beautiful though.
requests?
Like you said, the awareness.
Oh, that's all
where
it
it
is.
starts.
That's all it is. You got some book requests?
It's like suggestions.
Yeah.
Dude, that Empire Summer Moon
Really
for
good.
sure, dude. I just finished that one. It was a long book, but dude, I was like in it the whole time.
Yeah.
And usually there'll be a couple chapters where I get bored, but
Yeah.
dude, it was wild. Like just going back to this not ancient, but a different type of civilization.
Yeah.
And different way of life. And it was just this crazy story. Like the mother of the main character, Quanah Parker, his mom was a white woman in civilization, whatever. She got kidnapped by the Comanche. Well, the Comanche came in, raided their whole town, and they took her like prisoner at 9 years old. So she was still
She
like
was
a
like
kid.
raised to be a Comanche.
And she became a part of them, ended up marrying the chief and becoming a whole part of the culture.
Dang.
Well, like 20 some years later, their camp gets raided by the white folks.
So they
took her back, and she was like, I want to go back to this culture this was my life. And she was saying like her second capture was worse than the first one. So I was like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. You'd think she'd be trying to get back to her civilization, but just that different way of life, man, is eye-opening to see how they were living and just the culture and all that, dude, and the history that I didn't even know about that happened on this land. It's like, whoa.
Close to here.
Like,
in this stuff,
Yeah. So that was super cool. Ooh, man.
Man, what I wouldn't give to be able to just jump on a horse and ride for a week and get to Tucson, you know, or like just everywhere there's a fence. You know, it's all fences everywhere. But just to be able to get on your horse and just cruise through. If you're out of food, you go kill a rabbit or get a deer. You know, just to eat and survive. You know, that just to experience that would be freaking awesome.
Yeah, I wish I could live multiple lifetimes.
Yeah, just to check it out. But I guess you got to live through it through these books. You know, you got to read about it.
Yeah, for sure. Another one. Oh, this one hit me real good. Practicing the Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Really good book. It talks about presence, living in the moment, and how to work at that, because so often our minds get lost in the past or the future, and we
Especially
get like
with these dang phones and stuff too, man.
Exactly. You get like anxiety or something just because you're thinking about old stuff or stuff that hasn't even happened. And the thing is, that stuff doesn't exist. It's made up in your head, and you're just wasting your energy thinking on it. So that one was like, okay, I need to be in the present more, like as much as possible, just in the moment, living in the now.
That I'll probably because like I said, I'm trying to do that now. Like I've come to that realization by myself too. Like I need to take advantage of it while I can, you know.
For sure.
And like these charity hunts, they really make you think like you got to live now, you know, like while you can. That's
like
cool.
You said, you're going on those epic hunts this year, dude. That's exciting.
Yeah, they got to be able to just live now. Like if you can do it, man. That's pretty much it.
For sure. You got anything else you're looking forward to this year?
Hunting wise, like we'll find out. You know, that's like I said before. I put my nieces in for the bighorn sheep hunts and like the oryx youth hunts and stuff. So I'm really hoping, if I can't myself kill a bighorn sheep, that'd be a really awesome hunt to go on. But just New Zealand. I'm actually going to Alaska too with a buddy.
Wow.
From Arizona. We're gonna go hunt black bears in June. Ooh. So he has a brother there.
You're traveling the world this year.
that's what I'm trying to live by this year, man. Just going. But yeah, I have a buddy who his brother lives in Alaska, So we're going to fly up there and go hunt some bears, and that helps out a lot, having someone who lives there and being able to just fly and stay with them and all that kind of stuff.
Knows the lay of the land, too.
100%. Because there's a lot of good opportunities in Alaska, like moose is over the counter, caribou's over the counter, but the logistics of getting there, hunting, getting it back, like
True.
It's a lot.
Meat's heavy.
Meat is very heavy, and it's not cheap to spend back either. But so going to Alaska as well, my biggest thing is just hopefully we get hunts for the kids, even if it's not the charity hunts. Like I have 2 nieces who just gonna start hunting this year. I got a bunch of nieces that I have 15 nieces, like that are nieces and nephews that are just starting like into hunting stuff. So
the next generation
should be busy. We should be busy with hunts.
Well, hopefully we get some people that watch this podcast that know some people that might be interested in the program.
That would be awesome.
Please, if you guys can share it and help get it out there, that would be awesome. Just help get these kids the opportunity to experience nature and something new that can improve their confidence. It's truly beautiful what Johnny and his team are doing. So
thanks.
If you guys could help us out,
that'd be awesome.
Be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
So one more question.
Yeah.
You made me think of it right now. Why is it important for the future generations to continue hunting?
So a lot of people dislike hunting. They think it's murder and all that stuff, but it's conservation. Our money tags aren't cheap. Our money goes to conserving the populations of these animals in our state, and it just teaches the next generation that you can go and get your own food too. You know, like, and it's not processed, exactly where it's coming from, what it's eating. Cause to find animals, you got to find food for them too, so what they're eating, and it teaches them grit too. Like I'm sure there's gritty guys, like it's not easy to go and kill an animal. So you got to walk, you got to find them, you got to glass. Sometimes you get lucky, you're driving down the road, you jump them, but some other times
you got to work.
And it's days and days of walking and glassing, and they really, like we talked about too, it really makes them think about what am I get to do? Like I got to do it now too. Like without hunting, I don't know if I'd have this kind of mentality of like, hey, this is my life, this is what I got to do.
Yeah.
So you learn lessons of hard work. It's just like the sports stuff too. You learn how to work hard and be consistent, be strong. Like that's everything about it, being able to shoot, being able to hike, all that stuff. It's just getting the kids out and learning what's out there too,
Awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah, no, a lot of kids nowadays think food comes from Walmart.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So
they just
gives you
they don't even understand cattle. Like they don't understand that these ranchers raise cattle to give to sell to Walmart to sell to you,
Yep.
And they don't understand that it comes in on a truck. Like it's got to travel. So if you think about going and picking a tomato off the thing, then it's got to travel across the country. That's not going to be as good as if you pick it up out of your own garden in the back. That's
sure.
just, kids don't understand that either.
Yeah, a new perspective.
And there's a lot different taste too. That's something they got to kind of get used to too. It's not for everyone. I know there's a lot of people that don't like it, but
game
that's
meat.
Gamey. Yeah, but I grew up. That's all we eat growing up. You learn to love it, and I think like going to Texas Roadhouse or going to Walmart, I don't think it tastes as good. Like I would rather eat the game meat than eat a steak from Walmart.
For sure.
So
yeah, the only one that's gamey to me is deer.
Yeah,
and it's not bad.
Antelope as well. Antelope and deer are very similar.
Gotcha.
Very.
It's a little strong, but I can handle it.
I will say, Barbary sheep. It's gross. That's the one animal that I'm like, because everybody told me, but I'm like, a lot of people don't like.
I eat game.
Yeah, like that's me. So I cut it up. We deboned it because we were hiking out nasty country, but I kept the back straps for steaks, and the back strap's the best part of the animal.
Any animal, yep.
So I was like, I'll give it a try. I cooked it in a cast iron. I air fried it. Like I tried different ways. It was horrible. So I ate it all still. I ate all the steaks. So, but I would suggest getting like sausage or just ground. Ground, you can hide ground. Yeah. You can season it. You can put taco seasoning. You can hide and like even like javelina, like technically, legally, you don't even have to take the meat from a javelina. but I can't bring myself to kill something and not take the meat,
Yeah.
And we make chorizo out of them. Take them to the butcher. They make chorizo. You can't taste it. Another way too is apple cider vinegar. You soak it overnight in apple cider vinegar.
Interesting.
And then crock pot it with your favorite barbecue sauce or whatever sauce you want in it. And I
Helps
made
with
some.
the gaminess?
Yeah. The apple cider vinegar takes away that gaminess out of the javelina. Because you could smell how they smell.
Yeah.
Like the meat stinks like how they smell. So that apple cider vinegar kind of takes that out.
Nice.
And then if you just cook it slow in a crock pot, 6-7 hours with some barbecue sauce. And I had some that you wouldn't be able to tell it's javelina if you didn't know. So that's one way to kind of. But like I said, I can't bring myself to go shoot something and just leave it there.
Yeah.
Like that's not, even though it's legal technically. Yeah. But yeah, I can't do it.
For sure.
You just got to figure out a way to eat it, because the chorizo's good too, with the eggs or whatever. But yeah, you just got to figure it out. That Barbary was tough though. Just so you know.
Noted.
Ground and sausage. That's breakfast sausage and ground is what I would would suggest for Barbary sheep.
You got it.
But they're cool animals. They look cool. They got the chaps and stuff. But yeah, that's.
You said you had some shout outs?
Oh yeah, this would be good for you too. You bow hunt. My buddies at Bow Hitch. They're from Albuquerque. Doug and Armando. They make a bow hitch that sits on your sight. And it sits out, and they have a bino adapter, like it connects to your binos, or you can connect it to your backpack, and it hangs on your side, and you just hook that thing on, and you can glass, you can walk, you can do whatever you need to do. You carry your tripod, they have a tripod holder, like they have a bunch of cool gear. It just hangs to your side, and it makes hiking. You can hike with trekking poles. A lot of people hike with it on their pack, but my big thing of that is, if you have your once in a lifetime opportunity at this giant bull or giant buck, and your bow's on your backpack, that there, it's so quick. And my issue,
nice. I carry mine in my hand, and it gets heavy.
It gets heavy, yeah, and it gets tiring. And it's awesome having that thing. Their slogan is "Carrying your bow sucks." That's one of their slogans, So yeah, the bow hitch, man, it's awesome.
Carrying your bow and keeping it in the truck. It doesn't fit anywhere nicely.
Does it? Well, there's actually a rack thing I saw too that they make that sits on the back, but I haven't tried it. But yeah, that bow hitch, man, it just sits next to you there, and you can do whatever. You can hike, you can glass, and my biggest issue I thought going into it was the fever. I get the fever and I'm not be able to get it off. But it's so easy.
Gotcha.
Like you pick your bow up and you just move that thing and it's off. Like
nice.
it's really, you should check. And they're not expensive. They're well priced, and for what it's worth, it's awesome, man. And Doug and Armando they're awesome people. They're always helping out the community and doing cool stuff. So they check them out on Instagram and stuff too at the Bow Hitch. So they do good.
We get all your socials, everything.
Yeah,
I think we did. We got your Instagram.
Yeah.
We got the program.
Yeah, John Plowman 37, I think is my Instagram handle. But yeah, so I'll hopefully be posting a lot of pictures, and I got a cameraman going to New Zealand. My buddy Derek's going to come with me, and he does the Backcountry Predator on YouTube.
Okay.
He has some cool videos on YouTube. He's going to come and film, hopefully get the mountain goat hunt film and stuff. Awesome. And it's cool to be able to post it on YouTube and stuff, but like just for memories for me and to be able to show my kids, and
for sure.
That'd be awesome. But yeah, I think that's about all the hunting stuff.
Right on, man.
But
thanks for coming on.
I guess if I could get anything out of it is, if you have the chance, just do it. Like if you die with memories and not dreams.
I love that.
That's
quote,
it.
dude.
That's the Mountain Project. Those guys are awesome, man.
I love that.
Cool. But yeah, that
got me fired up over here. I'm like, shoot, I need some more hunts this year.
Yeah, like I said, man, don't be dumb. Don't go and put yourself in $100,000 worth of debt, But
bighorn sheep.
Yeah, well, those hunts are $60,000 to $100,000. It's crazy. But if you can do it, man. Take a risk. Spend a little bit of money. I'm gonna work till I'm dead.
For sure.
I'm gonna work till I'm 70, probably. I can't even pull out of my 401k until I'm 59.
Yeah.
And who knows what my body's going to be like, or I can take care of my body, but something can happen that I have no control over too, So
live while we can.
Do it.
Beautiful.
Do it.
Thanks, brother.
I appreciate you, man.